Good afternoon, sorry. Anyways, there is, I was going to say, anyways, there is, that's your old pal Logger or Gabe. Anyways, a lot of you are wondering, man, Logger, you talk so much about logging, but do you ever interview people? Um, I thought about it just today. Just today, I thought about interviewing my uncle, my two uncles, and, and mostly my uncles. Well, my uncle and whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna interview my uncle Connie, and I'm gonna call it interviewing my uncle Connie, or interviewing my uncle Connie, or interviewing Connie Bozarth of Bozarth Logging, or my uncle. I'm just gonna say interviewing Connie Bozarth or my uncle Connie. The video is mostly gonna consist. I want to say what I'm going to do is I'm going to interview him, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him a series of questions. I'm only going to make this a 15-minute long video. So when I go up to his house, when I go to my grandparents' house, I'm going to ask my grandpa if I can interview my uncle Connie, and he probably would say yes. And I have to get my uncle Connie's approval, saying, um, if it's okay, I can do that. I don't think he'd mind. I'm just basically gonna ask him his stories and why he did logging, because he has started his company from, like I've said in my series of videos, he has started his logging company from the ground up. And I take, some very big pride in knowing I have an uncle who had his own logging company, and he has now retired at 85 years old. And he's older than my grandpa, older than my Uncle Greg, and older than me. Well, of course he is. He's 85. I'm only 19. Anyways, my Uncle Greg, he's 65, 64. Anyways, my grandpa's 76 years old. He's older than my Uncle Greg. And on top of that, everybody's saying, man, you talk about your Uncle Greg too. Are you going to interview him too? Yes, I will interview him too. I will see if my grandpa is okay with that. I want to make an interview with him, basically. And that video is going to be saying, interviewing my Uncle Greg, or interviewing my Uncle Greg on about when he was doing timber falling. Or I don't know. I'm still going through the process and naming these videos that gonna make. As you know, a lot of people are gonna say you haven't uploaded anything yet. You're on your computer a lot, and you don't go on YouTube and upload any videos. Well, unfortunately, I have been a little busy with school. Mostly, I've been doing my homework, and yes, I'm shaking my leg because I'm very anxious right now because I had 2 cups of coffee today with creamer, and without no sugar, just creamer. But yes, that gets me all hyper, and I'm just started thinking of making an interview video with my uncle. Anyways, I did an interview with my sister, but that was not logging related. It was just a series of weird questions, and um, I don't know if I want to put that on YouTube. Anyways, I don't want to be called a prejudiced or racist or anything like that. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an interview video and be interviewing my Uncle Connie and my Uncle Greg on logging, because I talk so much about logging, yet I haven't interviewed the people who have done logging. And yes, I'm wearing a t-shirt over a long sleeve because I did that. I cut the sleeves off of this. Yes, it's my uncle's old company, Robinson Enterprises logging t-shirt. Yes, I cut the sleeves off because that's how I roll. Basically, I love this t-shirt, and I do that anyways. Sorry about that. Need some water. I'm fine right now, actually. You know what? I'm just gonna get a drink of water from my water jug. Gabe's toxic water. Hold on. Hold the phone. What the hell? Okay. Yikes. It smells like. It smells like gasoline. Surprisingly, I clean it a lot, and it still smells like gasoline. So, anyways, the main issue here is this. I talk so much about logging and all that other stuff, like most and important things about school and everything like that. And yes, I do talk about logging, but like today, I was sitting here. I was sitting here in my room just a couple minutes ago at like 4 o'clock or at 3 something, and then I sat here for a few minutes. I'm like, why don't I make a video of me interviewing my Uncle Connie and Uncle Greg? Because I'm like, that would be an idea. Because I'm like, I talk so much about logging, I just haven't interviewed them at all. But it would make a little bit of a difference in my YouTube videos, because. But yes, I'm going to be using my computer and all that stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to my Uncle Connie's and but first I gotta ask my grandpa if it's okay. But anyways, sorry, I'm spacing out. There is a book I have right here. It's been made by Anton Truer, and it's called Everything You Want to Know About Indians, but Were Afraid to Ask. And this is what the book looks like. Basically like this. And it's not talking about the guy or the Indians from India. It's talking about the Native Americans, basically. But not to get off topic with the interview. What I'm going to do is I'm going to interview. I'm going to make. What I'm going to do is I've watched a lot of videos on people interviewing bloggers, and they are very popular for some reason. For me, at least, because people watch interviews, right? Like you see them on the news. You see them on TV, on the news, basically, of people going to these people, big time corporations, or not corporations, but like small businesses, and interviewing them, right? That's what you see. And you see that on YouTube. You always see people interviewing like older people, like their elders, and asking them questions. So that's what I noticed. I talk about logging. I have just never asked about or interviewed people like my family, like my Uncle Greg and Uncle Connie. But I have decided, it's time for a change. If I talk about logging, I talk about like music and songs and all that stuff on my YouTube channel. But I want to talk about my grandma Mary's brother's history, which is my step grandmother. But now she's my family, and I want to ask my uncle, my step uncle, some questions and be like, hey, I want to know some questions. I mean, I always ask him, I always wanted to ask him some questions, but it's kind of a long story. But anyways, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not afraid of him. I'm just, never gotten, like I want to say now, the time to do that. But it's occurred to me, you have an uncle. You have two uncles. One was a timber faller. One had his own logging company, and you have never asked them in your entire, career. I've heard, like, I've told stories about the logging, like old singers, and not a bunch of loggers or the logging industry, but I've wanted to ask him. I think it's come to the point, I need to step up and, like, ask him, be like, hey, I want to know some history, Uncle Connie. I want to walk up to my Uncle Connie and be like, hey, Uncle Connie, I'll be like, hey, Uncle Connie, I want to make a video with you in it and interview you on logging, like, when you started your company, why did you do logging, and you made, how you enjoyed it, and some scary stories about, what crazy things he has seen, and ask him is, would he what would you say to the younger generation who wants to get into logging? You know, well, Uncle Connie's he's very informative, as you could say, and he can tell you, like, oh, he could tell you some cool stuff, and he could tell you some stories. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not going up for Thanksgiving, but I'm going to court on Wednesday, and they're not gonna arrest me, surprisingly, and they're not going to arrest me for what I did or anything like that, or what's been happening around here. And I'm glad to hear that, because I asked Michael, and he's like, the owner here, he's like, nope, they won't arrest you. They'll they'll give me a slap on the wrist, like, no, don't do that again. This is like your warning. But anyways, but the main thing here is this. Um I really want to do this interview. Like, probably when I go up there for the holidays, I'm gonna, interview him. Uh um I've always wanted to do it. I want to say this. I've heard so many stories from him. I've never had my computer right in front of me be like, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to interview him. Like, I want to get some information." But anyways, getting down to 14 and 8 seconds. 4 4 10, 4 11 4 12 13 14 4 15 seconds. In a couple seconds, it's going to be hitting 15 seconds. Anyways, guys, this is a video saying I'm going to interview my uncle, and I'm going to interview my uncles, or my Uncle Connie, during my next break. Anyways, love y'all. Remember, wash your hands. I'm gonna do this since I've been talking about it. Wear a mask. Yeah, you're not gonna get used to wearing these. Wear your mask. I'm joking. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Sanitize. and have a good rest of your day. Bye.